It says my audio's included already, so we should be good to go. There it is. Noof Nukem is live.
Good now? He says you're good.
All right, good. That's cool.
Ah, perfect. All right. It's
Hopefully
probably a little issue with
maybe
mixer.
it was just a little mixer issue.
All right, we got people in the house. We
not?
know the chat is working. The audio is good. All right, guys, let's do this for the second time. You know it's going to be a good show when we got to reboot it because I have the one, the only, the Mooch. He is on the program. Mix It Up with Newf, episode 6. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us tonight. We got a lot of good topics to get into. But before we get into the topics, I do want to say one thing. I want to shout out and thank all of you guys for supporting me. I just was peeping by my YouTube account today and noticed I had over 500 subs, and for the life of me, I never thought I'd see that happen. Heck, I was kind of stagnant for a while. I was kind of like hovering in that 300 range for the longest time. I was like, yeah, this shit's not going anywhere. And I didn't really care. But hey, it is what it is. It's growing. Appreciate the support. So thanks so much there. But anyway, guys, let's get into it. I have the man, the myth, the legend, all those good things. The Mooch is here with me tonight. Mooch, how this works is basically we're going to ask you some simple questions, kind of to figure out what makes you tick while you're playing games. We'll get the game started up here so we don't have to sit on the dashboard. I think we just go up and launch. Okay, let's launch, and you just pick us a mission while we're in the game here, and we'll do it.
Okay, sounds good. No, good to be on the show, man. I probably should have been on sooner. It's just, you know what it is you picked a great night. Mondays are a great night to have a formal or informal podcast, and the weekend is just jam-packed with, as you know, you're on many of them. So it's just it's hard sometimes on Mondays to get going, but I love what you're doing. I like how you're switching it up, Newf. This is what it's all about, is being creative and somehow figuring out how to get games involved, and you're doing a great job.
Def Jam Bam, Little System in the house, Biggie2316 in the house as well. Guys, thanks for showing up and supporting. If nothing else, support the Mooch. Come out and say hello to the man. He's here with me tonight. Kind of a little fact, Mooch was actually my intended guest for the episode 1, and the reason I wanted Mooch for episode 1, I know he just couldn't make it back to time due to Christmas and the holidays and a bunch of things, so time commitments, but the reason I really wanted Mooch as episode 1, because Mooch, whether you guys know this or not, Mooch is a big reason I podcast. Mooch is a big reason I'm even part of this community. You know, it wasn't until I stumbled across him and crap and BGSC and stuff that I got into this stuff. And the first ever podcast I actually did, I'll never forget it. You never forget your first, was actually an episode on Crossfire. And after it was done, you know, Mooch kind of said, dude, you held your own. You weren't too bad. You know, more or less, and said, you know, I didn't come in and just like all of a sudden go to the mute witness or whatever program. So I think I held my own, and from there it just kind of grew one after another. So good again, Mooch. I want to thank you for that, man, because you're just fantastic, big supporter of what I do, and I'm a big supporter of yours as well. So thanks for that.
Hey man, listen, you know, to be honest with you, I'm glad you know, it's funny, you have these shows, you kind of start, like, I give the same thing, I say thank you and shout out to Zaire as much as possible. Zaire gave me my shot, and it's nice to be able to, you know, have a platform to be able to bring somebody into it, like yourself, and you just rocked it, man. You rocked it. Not just that, let's be honest, you're a radio personality, man. You have everything you have the 6 tools, right? Whatever they are, you have every single thing. Look at me here, he's in the chat, he's in the... You know, so it's so great, man. So I knew you had it right off the bat. I think you picked the mission. I did not pick a mission.
Okay.
So you're driving.
No, you can pick the mission.
What everybody doesn't realize is I picked this because this is a great game that I've had, and I've not played it at all. So, I mean, here's like unknown location. Looks like it's a small mission. I don't know. I haven't done any of them, so you can pick new.
No, you've already picked it. I just got to put the waypoint on it. That's an outpost. That's where the chopper is. I just gotta. There we go. Now we have a waypoint. I'm just gonna let you mark stuff on the map. You're B, I'm A, because I'm player 1. Spider-Man's gonna play this game. Biggie G's in the chat. He says I have a face for radio. LOL. Or you said I had a face for radio. That's cool. I get that all the time. But yeah, so thanks to Mooch. Like I said, it was a big Mooch and Zaire and crap. 3 of the biggest reasons I do this. So yeah, they all played a part into it. Tim Dog as well. But this isn't about me. This is about Mooch and what makes Mooch tick. So Mooch, first of all, let's go with the name, Mooch. I mean, I think some people in the community by now kind of figure out where the name, at least how you're living up to the name. But where'd you get that damn name?
Well, definitely high school, college years. Just one of those guys that was always like, if you give me a hamburger today, I'll gladly pay for it tomorrow. So that never went away. I just kind of always, the thing about it is this, like, you know, people they use the word mooch as like bad always when you're kind of referring to it. And like, I tried to make the name actually say, you know, even when you bum something off of us, like, you know, whether it be back in the day, you say, oh, you have a cigarette or something like that. So you hang out with the person. Like, you know, when somebody, when you were younger, I mean, don't smoke now, but like when you're younger, you say, you know, can I borrow a cigarette or something like that? First thing they do is they take the cigarette and they leave. They bounce. They're gone. And you're like, damn, there goes a cigarette, and now this person's gone. If you're going to mooch a cigarette off somebody, this is for all you young cats out there. If you're going to mooch a cigarette off somebody, have the cigarette with the person you mooched it off of. Then they don't mind. You actually hung out with them. There's something, they're getting something for their giving, okay? You got to give to get. So it doesn't always have to be a trade-off like dollar for dollar, but at least hang out with people. Same thing here. Like, shout out to Biggie. Biggie hooked me up with Monster Hunter. Biggie knows now we're running through these missions together. Like, you know, you don't just mooch a game and then bounce. You know, you mooch the game and then you hang out. You hang out and have a good time and make it an event.
That's
right. You know, so, you know, special shout out to Biggie. So, I mean, how I got it is just that was what I always used to do. Always used to kind of thrive on being able to do mooch my way into it wasn't always an item. It was sometimes a situation or getting into a club or something like that. You know, be like, oh man, you know, I just don't have my ID with me, or you know what I mean. And they're like, dude, there he goes. Look at him over there. He's talking to the guy, and now he's going in the door. How the hell did he get in the door? You know, it's just something that takes a long time. You kind of it's all about hanging out with people, man. People in life generally want to gravitate and hang out with somebody who's fun. Kind of gives a good time, and that's kind of how it all kind of came about. Now my friends just roll with it. It's just a funny nickname.
We got
the rest is history, Newf.
We got Game Down Sights in the house. We also got Def Jam Bam, as I said, he's here as well. We got So Shady up in here, guys.
Nice.
So they're all saying hello to you, Mooch, basically. Woo! You can get out of the truck anytime.
I wish I could see you guys. I don't have. Yeah, now see now. Now, as much as we're doing the show right now, Newf, you do have to give me a tutorial here. So except for like LT and shoot with RT,
right?
What's the idea here? So we're going in. Okay, it looks like this is an easy level 1 outpost.
Yeah, this is just an outpost to take the guys out. I think there might. I'm not sure what's in here. This is just a basic, you know, outpost. Probably some XP or something here. So let's neutralize the enemies and take what's here, and then we'll move along. There looks like, yeah, there's, see that little green case on the map? We're running to it right now. That looks like
yes.
Looks like an XP.
That's an
map.
ammo crate.
Okay. There's something inside this house here. Yeah. We got to go inside here. Looks like there's a barrel in here. Maybe something we got to mark. Yeah, it's inside the wall here.
What do you think about this, Newf? There's so many games to play right now, right? I mean, like this game could easily be 100 hours, and it's almost like I have. What do I have? I have 100 minutes into it. You know, I mean, because there's just so much out there that right now, and I'm knee deep in Monster Hunter. There's this game. There's Sea of Thieves coming out in a month and a half. And then there's the entire backlog of Christmas, like Wolfenstein 2. Okay.
Yeah, the backlog is real stinking.
For all of you grammar police. Now this guy looks like he wants to fight over here, Newf, and you're nowhere to be seen.
Okay,
so
hang on. I'm
riding solo here.
I'm still. I just tagged the crate for you here. We just see we got a plus 50 on that one.
Yep, I see that.
Are you familiar with the controls here? Spider-Man says if you need help with the Monster Hunter, let him know. He'll gladly, he'll help you out with that.
Yeah, you know what, Spider-Man? Add me on Xbox Live if you didn't already, because I wouldn't mind asking some questions about that later on. I'm glad for all you watching the stream right now that you're watching Newf, because all I'm doing is looking really cool just going in circles.
Okay, so you got the name, and obviously you live up to it because you're very good at mooching games. You've gotten a lot from the community lately, so that's a great testament to the amazing community that we have. Like fucking people just pitch in and help out and such, you know. And I think they feel good about giving you games, Mooch, because you offer like basically the community hours upon hours each weekend and entertainment value. So I think that's why. You know, I think they do it as well. You know what I mean? To kind of give back, because you do
I
give
agree.
to
I
us.
agree.
Whether you,
I think
you know, whether you want to believe it or not, you do offer us guys a lot of entertainment. So let's get into some more history lessons here, guys. I'm trying to keep this moving along as much as I can. I got a feeling this could be my longest podcast ever, because me and Mooch obviously can talk.
It will be.
It's kind of funny because I always find this kind of funny. Mooch is great at analogies. He's the best at it in the podcast biz here, guys. But I always love how he has the food analogies most of the time, and I always seem to have the dirty ones, which is kind of funny. So Mooch will be talking about burgers, and I'm like talking about fur burgers.
you know what it is? Listen, whether
Hang on,
you're using your analogies or mine, I think the key thing about it is this. A lot of times someone will kind of be like just going on a subject, and maybe they're charismatic about it and they're kind of describing it to people. But a lot of other people are kind of like doing other things while they're listening to a podcast. And I find that sometimes if you're using an analogy, it just brings everybody together. Bring a situation to something everyone can relate to. And I think that's why everyone kind of really appreciates them. You know what I mean? Because it puts a funny spin on it too. You know, because sometimes some podcasts get passionate and emotional, and it's like sometimes you have to bring that into it to kind of cut the ice a little bit and kind of let people kind of say, all right, listen, that's right. We are talking about video games. Let's have a good time, making it an enjoyable show. So yeah, I'm glad everyone appreciates those.
Def Jam says, Mooch, he has facts, food, movies, business references.
True. Do me a favor, Bam. Get that on a business card and put my name on the back. That's outstanding. What a great sales pitch for me.
But it's good because that's how people identify with you, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things, again, that sets you apart from the pack.
True.
I mean, there's a lot of great podcasters out there, but there's a lot of podcasts, too. They're very... I don't know, for the lack of terms, they're just missing something. I don't know if it's an energy or it's, again, they don't have those things where they can humanize the content. It's just kind of straight up games like, hey, this game came out for Nintendo. It's kind of cool. You should play it. You know, or you're just like, the game just came out for Nintendo. I can't fucking believe they made another remaster. You know, like that's the, you know, that's kind of how I see, you know, when you're doing it, right? It's kind of like, especially when you get worked up. I mean, when you get worked up, I'm very passionate about the topics in question. I mean, I'll never forget, especially the first couple of months when I used to hear you talk about soccer cars or Rocket League as people have it, and I used to laugh to kill myself because you made that fucking name stick. I think you might have been the one who eventually coined it or something. Like, it's crazy. Like, soccer car.
Well, I got a story. I got a story for everybody. So yeah, I believe I was the first one to call it soccer cars and run with it. I still believe, truly, side story to the story, is that all Xbox fans, when you're playing Rocket League, you should always refer to it as soccer cars. PlayStation 4 had Rocket League for whatever it was, 8 months, 9 months, a year. That's awesome. That's their game. Our game is soccer cars. But shout out to Southbound. South was at the Game Awards back in, I want to say 14. I think it was 2014. It could have been 2015 easily. And long story longer, right when Rocket League was getting announced for, in one of the categories, he's like, he says to me, he wrote me right away. He tweeted me right away in the DMs, and he's like, you won't believe this, Mooch. I go, what's going on? He's like, the minute they said Rocket League, he's like, people were yelling, soccer cars! Soccer cars! So, this is at the Game Awards, okay? You've got Jeff Keighley on stage, and people are yelling soccer cars out loud. A lot of it you probably couldn't hear off television, or on television, or on the stream. But that is awesome. I mean, that is something that lets people know. You know, Zaire told me this, like, when I first started YouTube, is you'd be amazed who listens to you. You know what I mean? So, the entertainment factor and all that, that's great. I'm glad everyone's entertained by it. I hope they enjoy it. Listen, when I get on, I like to do a good show. I take it very seriously. You know, I've been doing it for a long time, and I don't like to miss shows. Like, if I'm scheduled to do one, I do it. You know, I don't let anything, it's not like, oh, you know what I wanted to do? No, I wanted to go get a large pizza tonight. I'll do a podcast another night. No, you have people that regularly like to enjoy the show, and I think it's an obligation to, the fans, everybody that to be there every week and do that. So, I hope that's what's it pays off in the long run. If you care about it, people will care back.
So Shady says that you need to bring crap around on Game Pass, and Stinky Corp says Mooch does a great job. Always enjoys listening.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Crap. Crap's coming around. I think I can't speak for him. This is only my opinion. but I think he's coming around. I think, you know, with the rumors, and they're just rumors, so no need to alert the presses yet. But if Microsoft makes any kind of acquire any of the companies that they're talking about, or IPs, or long distance third-party deals, I think that's great. And I think that adds to the benefit of what Game Pass is. I don't think Game Pass is for everybody. I think it's games in there. The hardcore will take advantage as well, right? I mean, Noof, we get a lot of the games that come out now, and I don't know. That's what's great about this game. I think this game is great for podcasting.
Oh yeah, look at these guys. Let's get out and take them out. Fuck them up. If we don't fuck up the car first.
I like how the car's just going over.
There you go.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, it's a crate. We can mark it. There you go. Mark the crate.
Good
Dirty J says, well, I'm not coming around. He's just kidding. Everybody's coming around. Yeah, well, I'm coming somewhere. I don't know if it's around the pizza or not, but yeah.
No, chill.
So, okay, let's get into some more questions, Mooch. But great answers.
Sure.
Let's go back. Let's take this way back. What's your earliest video gaming memories? What console do you remember, like, picking up and playing for your first time?
Yeah. Okay, so, you know, and this is going to bore some people, so I'll make it short and sweet, but the first console I picked up and enjoyed, if you want to talk about that memory, was the ColecoVision.
There you go.
Yeah, ColecoVision was my first, if you're saying that's, because I just have memories of playing hours and hours of Zaxxon. Okay?
Zaxxon, yeah.
Zaxxon, folks. Yes, Zaxxon. That's my first one, but to say, like, what game system really just hook, line, and sinker was the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Amazing memories, amazing games. It was the first time as a kid I remember seeing what an arcade game could possibly look like. Because let's be honest, when you went to the arcade, there was Mario and there's this and there was that. There's all kinds of great games to play in the arcade that looked amazing, felt amazing. And then when I came home to play Coleco, okay, that just wasn't doing it for me. And to see Nintendo come out and see the games that they were playing, and we were playing Mario Brothers, and it was just, it was like, wow, we're getting there, which is comical, right? Because now you're like, no, we're there now. But it felt like we were getting there in the 80s. So it was definitely the NES, which was the system. That kind of brought me into where we are. And I mean, I played Nintendo for, I don't know, we all counting in hundreds of hours. These were thousands and system.
What would you say was your favorite NES game then? Mario 3?
So NES game, you know, it's funny, back then it wasn't so much the allegiance to just Mario. I would say, and it's funny because now it's flip-flop, but it was Zelda. I played Zelda a lot. If you want to say which one of Nintendo's first party that was just a have to play, have to have, constantly playing. Yeah, it was definitely Zelda. But there was games that I was playing, like, as Crap actually corrected me. As a kid, I used to call it Faxanadu, and he said it's Faxanadu. And that was a game I played, like, to the nth degree. Ghost and Goblins. Just like stupid games too, like Top Gun, Kung Fu. Played those games forever. God, I think I want to say, remind me if I'm wrong here, Noof, but Spy Hunter.
Yeah, Spy Hunter. Yep.
I mean,
Biggie says
these are the games that I just played forever.
Biggie says Bionic Commando, Mike Tyson Punch Out, So Shady,
Yes.
Faxanadu was amazing. Yeah, a lot of people love Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I remember I spent a ton of time playing Blades of Steel. Blades of Steel.
Blades of Steel. I still have that game. I have it downstairs. I played Bionic Commando.
Tecmo Bowl.
That was Biggie who said that. I played that for like years. Like probably. Thank you for bringing that. Thank you for bringing that memory back. Bionic Commando was one of the first games, you know, where the claw goes out, you latch on, and it's so funny because now if you play that, it's comical because there's no way in God's green earth, like you can't latch on anything that's near the edge of a beam. It has to be in the center of the beam. God, the patience we had when we were kids, like there's no way the kids today could play those games because you had 3, 4 lives.
Rygar by
I think
Rare
if you had one hit, Rygar, yes,
or
yes,
slalom, yeah, the ski one, right?
yep.
Yeah,
Mike
that's
Tyson's Punch Out was also another good one. People say it, but they don't really talk about it a lot.
you
Played
know
the
the games that were popular, but I
Jesus
used
out
to
of
drive
that.
me nuts were the fucking ones like Track and Field by Konami. I used to have that one, and I used to practically wear my fingertips
Yep.
off, but going back and forth like.
Yep. You know, it's funny. So, okay, we can bring it back. Track and Field, I actually had for Coleco.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember the Coleco controller, I think, right?
Yep.
Noof, it was, it looked like a phone with like a nub on the top of it, like this little nubby, like roundabout thing. And for track and field, for running, you'd put the controller down, you'd hold it down with your left hand, and with your right hand, you would just like move that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you would actually get it to make your runner run faster and faster and faster. And it was just a lot of fun. I mean, that's stuff that now I don't think that a lot of people would even have the patience to play.
Yeah.
But there was also Excite Bike.
Yeah. And so many
Field,
great companies
so
have gone up. Remember, like all these companies, there was Tato, Data East, Acclaim, LJN. You remember all these these companies that made these games and they no longer exist. You know, like it's pretty crazy. Acclaim was huge,
was big.
but Acclaim was so bad for making bad games. Like all they ever seemed to do was like license stuff, and they were just terrible at it. Like a lot of the games were just trash.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they did pretty well, but I think they had, what was it, Iron Sword? You used to have Fabio on the cover of the case. I mean, there was that, and there was some other games. Yeah, Fabio was the thing.
It's
People are like, who the
amazing.
fuck is Newf talking about Fabio? Well, he was kind of like a big deal back in the 80s. You know, I need to be revived.
Yeah,
by the
Fabio
way.
was a big deal.
Yeah.
Where are you, Noof? There you
I'm
are.
over by the back of the gas station. See, we didn't spot enough enemies, and I'm getting like shot in the back and shit. So this is a big outpost here. This was actually like easy, but not because there's just so many guys. There you go. You revived me. Cool. So cool. So NES. What would you say is then your favorite? You died too. Look at this. We can't even beat an outpost.
Yeah.
But that's there we go. Because we're not really concentrating, right? But that's not the purpose. We're
No,
not
not
really
at
here
all.
to play
I'm just
games. We're
running
here to like
around.
just shoot the breeze and have fun and die a billion times. We're kind of doing the Bloodborne thing here with Ghost Recon. Speaking of,
Would
I
you
bought
think
that
of
game all the way.
Bloodborne? I haven't started it yet. I've had it like still in the case. I still have it in the case wrapped up. Got it for $13 last Christmas, not this Christmas that passed. Last Christmas for $13 brand new at Best Buy, and I have not. Because I mean, I'm playing Dark Souls 3 still.
Right.
Now this Monster Hunter, but I mean, what was your take on it, Noof? I was actually
I
interested in
haven't even
hearing-
gotten to the first boss, but I'm early in the game, and I do like it. It actually impressed me more than I thought it was. Like, I think it's a good game. It looks great, and it's much smoother controls than I had anticipated. But again, it is one of those games that you will die. You will die a lot. So again, you have to have patience. You have to learn the techniques. You have to learn how to switch inventory. You know, and it will come in time. Again, it's one of those rewarding games. You do feel that sense of accomplishment when you get somewhere. But yeah, it's a pretty cool game. I'm excited to see more of it. But I've got to be in a good mood to play it, because if I'm like even 10% agitated, I'm going to pitch an Xbox controller, or sorry, not a PlayStation controller through the screen there. So, yeah.
Well, what's your take on the whole single player versus multiplayer thing? I mean, do you prefer to come home after a long day's work and just, you know, have a beer or relax and play a single player game and be kind of cut off from the world? Or do you kind of want to have that same thing, have your adult beverage, relax, and be able to yuck it up with your friends? Where do you kind of land in that category?
I'm kind of like Biggie G in the chat. He said he like both, depending on the game, and that's true. It depends on the game. It also depends on the time of day. Because I generally, if you look at my track record,
Yes.
I tend to find that in the evening, I seem to be more like tailored to like playing multiplayer, because I want to be engaged. I want to be socializing with a lot of my buddies. But in the daytime, sometimes like I don't really want to be bothered too much. I don't want to have to worry about, you know, that. So it seems like in the daytime I'm playing a lot of the single player stuff. Like today, for example, the only game I fired up prior to this was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is effing phenomenal and amazing, by the way.
Great game.
Yeah, so that's the one I fired up today, right? But like tonight, here we are. I mean, I could play this game any day of the week. But it's not even some multiplayer games. Like you just like they're kind of like PUBG is obviously one of those games where like you can almost play that every day, even for 10 minutes, whereas other multiplayer games are kind of like you have to be in a really specific mood to play it, otherwise it just doesn't fly, right?
Right. And I love PUBG, man. PUBG is probably the one game right now that can pull me off of almost anything. I understand it's repetitive. I understand the snap, but the fact of the way the game immediately launches you into a new game every time, without hesitation, it feels different every time because basically, you never know what's going to happen with, say certain people that you're playing with as a team or as you're not playing with, and they're going to come after you, attack you. But I mean, to get back into the whole multiplayer, single player thing, I like what your answer was there when you said it depends on what time of day it is. I generally find Saturday afternoons, if it's a holiday, everyone's home for a holiday, Memorial Day, Labor Day, and it's the middle of the day, I love playing a single player game. The sun's shining through, kind of open all the shades up, get the TV, blast the TV a little bit, no headset on, get into the story, get immersed, enjoy yourself. But when it comes down to like at night like this, I definitely would rather play a multiplayer game because I'm just in the mood to come home, unwind, bullshit with friends about stuff that's going on in the gaming industry, maybe some sports, maybe about the game itself, tactics in the game. So I'm definitely, I would say, an 80-20 multiplayer over single player. And, the other thing is too, you asked a lot of questions about like how I grew up playing games and what I like to play. And to be honest with you, being younger and playing in the 80s and 90s, all we really played was single player. That's one exit I've never seen before. But Newf just rolled out. That was a great image to see. But no, like we played all the games we played as kids, Newf, were pretty much single player. Were they couch co-op? Yes, they were. But they were single player games. And I think I kind of got my fill of that, right? I mean, 16 years of playing single player games. All of a sudden, the amazing effects of what Xbox Live is, to be able to play with people all over the world. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. So, I mean, that's why I'm more multiplayer, because I'm like, been there, done that with single player. Not that I don't want to get immersed into a story and this and that, but playing like 6 multiplayer games all in a row, single player games all in a row, it gets old. And I don't like just sitting there not communicating with anybody.
I find a good game is sometimes like a good beer, like you could drink a beer any day of the week, but most of us don't really want to get up and wake up to a beer, like you'd rather drink it at nighttime when, you're trying to cool off and playing or watching a sports event,
I totally agree. As you can see, we are literally running in circles and dying.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten into topics, guys, yet. We're like almost a half an hour in here, pretty much, and we're still on the original. So let's quick this. A couple quick more questions. Okay. What was your favorite console then of all time? Like past and present. You can pick an old one if you want. If you had to go with anything that's over 20 years old, what would it be? And if you had to go with a current console, what would it be?
Okay, so, current console, I'm definitely, the Xbox One is won me over on the current,
Right.
I like it better than even the 360 era, because what happened with the 360 era is it kind of got me where I loved everything about it, but then I was like, this is getting stale, like this is getting old. I was ready for what you're seeing right now, what we're playing right now, this massive immersed world that looks realistic. I will say this much: I thought that the Xbox One when it came out in 2013 and the PS4, I thought we were getting the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. I was shocked to see such the slight upgrade. I killed a civilian. I had no idea. I thought he got out. He took it.
What's going on,
He got out.
Siberia?
He took a knee. I thought he was pointing a gun right at us. I was like, oh, that guy's holding the gun. But yeah. Anyways, long story longer. Like,
frag out.
I just think that the Xbox One did a hell of a job as far as like all time. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, If you do realize that, right?
Absolutely.
I would say the SNES. The SNES did for me with the passionate games I had with the NES, and it elevated everything, right? So what did I tell you? I liked Ghosts and Goblins. So then there was Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and there was like Super Mario. I liked Mario, now it's Super Mario. Then there was Zelda, and Zelda got taken to the nth degree, and everything just got like wicked, like up-res. So you take the 360, the Xbox One, Xbox One X has now taken it to the next level. And as a kid, the SNES was just my all-time favorite. I owned a Genesis. I owned a lot of games on both systems, and I just preferred the Nintendo ecosystem. The same way I feel like right now, like where there's Sony and there's Xbox. And I get where the Sony fans come from. I can't sit here and say they're wrong. That's their opinion. But I genuinely prefer the controller.
Yeah.
I prefer the online. I like the community, and it's a more multiplayer social ecosystem, and that's where I feel more comfortable.
Fair enough. So last question for the sort of the retro questions, Mooch. Biggie says he actually liked the original Sega Master System. He liked Outrun and Space Harrier and Hang On and those games. So that's a pretty cool choice. My old system, I'd probably have to go with Genesis because it was, I don't know, like I kind of adopted the Genesis before I even got. We're gonna back the track over here a little bit, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna complete this fucking outpost if it takes us all night.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll get it done.
Okay, we're gonna park over here. We're gonna spot more enemies this time. Send up the drones. Sega Dreamcast, yeah, I love that one. But I gotta go with the Genesis because I think like it was my childhood, right? And I think when you're in that age, like between about 7 to like 13, like whatever console you seem to own at that point in time in your life, I think seems like it means more. I could be wrong, but it seems like it means more in general. Or the first one, perhaps you ever bought. You know what I mean?
No, I you know, the thing about Genesis, I think, too, and again, there's no real right or wrong answer here. It's just how you kind of felt about it. But, I mean, for some reason, I thought Genesis was, like, it was always just, I don't want to use the words run and gun, but it was just run, like Sonic and Altered Beast. It was just quickly get through the board, just get through it and punch once or twice and get through it, or run as fast as you can. Like, what is it there? What was the dolphin? The
Echo the Dolphin, yeah.
Echo the Dolphin. Like, it was just quickly run, swim. Like, get through. And I just thought the Nintendo games had more depth. You know, I was playing Dragon Quest, and I was playing Final Fantasy, and I was playing, Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3, especially if you progress through the SNES. And just, like, so much more, like use your mind and RPG style games, and I just didn't see that TLC coming from the Genesis. It just seemed really like simplistic, I think the sports games, like one thing we have in common, Newf, I played NHLPA for so long, it's not even funny. So I mean, I'm a huge NHL fan, like not nearly as huge as you Canadians, but I love hockey, and I think that Sega Genesis did a great job with sports games, especially NHL.
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you see what I mean? Like, it was just the RPGs, the JRPGs, if you will, were just so much better. And don't forget, that was a different era back then. So you might go, well, geez, Mooch, I thought you didn't really care for JRPGs. Yeah, I'm not gonna play the crap out of JRPGs now, but I don't mind one every once and again. To be honest with you, it's pretty refreshing. Change things up every once and again. And there I am. I'm down again. I'm just not even. I wish I played this a little bit before. I've had this game for so long, and I just never play it.
There's a lot of guys here, and if you don't mark them, they're like, I think we're further in the levels.
Well, you know what it was?
I think we're on my side of the map, which is which is one of the harder.
Well, that's what I was saying to you before
sides.
we went live. I was wondering if maybe we should have went into my game because I have the entry level. I think my guy's like level 2. But yeah, there's so many games of the holiday. There's this game that I wanted to play. I mean, I beat Evil Within 2 twice. Going through Wolfenstein 2. PUBG came out, and I became worthless to everything else. I've got over 100 hours into PUBG. Just can't stop playing that game. And now I've got, I don't know how many hours. I must have almost 20 hours into Monster Hunter. Yeah. Enjoying that. That's a great game. Underrated game. I know it's doing well now, and people are talking about it, but nobody really like that was a game that I thought would be, yeah, it's cool to have, cool to get, but I can't stop playing. I was playing it just before we went live.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Scythe
Cool.
Effects, and then I'm playing Dark Souls 3 as well. So there's just a lot. There's a lot on the plate, and my God, it's a packed spring.
What's going on, Siberia?
it's not
Stinky
gonna slow
Corpse
down.
picked the Sega Dreamcast. Siberia's up in the chat. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Me and Mooch here. We're getting just about ready to get into some. Mooch, pick a different side other than that big. That outpost has got too many guys in it right now, so I'm going to remove my
I'm with
waypoint
you.
so I don't. So just pick something else. Maybe come down. The area you should probably be picking something in is around the Itigua Alpha area. So when you bring in the map, just zoom in a little bit with your triggers, and it'll bring you down somewhere missions down there in the section 1 area.
Okay.
And again, the yellow markers are the story markers. The green stuff are like side missions.
Or like side missions.
Yeah, like they got a thing when you put your
Let's
when
do
you put
this
your
one. This
cursor
one
over, it
looks
tells you
alright.
what they are. So yeah, just pick something different.
This is a side mission. It's a vehicle drop-off. Should be pretty fun to just kind of drive around and shoot the shit.
Okay. This. Oh, you already marked it.
Yep.
Okay.
You see it?
Yeah, I see your B right now. I'm just gonna mark it a waypoint here. Actually, we can hold the fast travel. We're gonna fast travel right next to it. Okay, so guys, we're gonna start getting into some topics here, but one last one, I guess, for the light and fluffy stuff, Mooch. How about if you were on a deserted island and you could only take 3 games with you? Think about this one carefully. What 3 games would you think you would take? I know this is a really tough question. So many good games.
So current gen?
Could be current, could be old. You got 3 games. You can't probably
Ooh.
you're not going to be able to play multiplayer because there won't.
Right.
Well, you wouldn't have
Yeah,
power.
probably not.
You probably wouldn't have power either. But
You wouldn't have any power.
but we'll just rule out that
man.
much. But whatever games it might be. If you just could take any game somewhere, you're stuck somewhere by yourself, and that's the only 3 games you can play the rest of your life. That's a good way to put it.
Okay. I'll go ahead and say I'm going to say Halo. Is one of them, just because I gotta have that shooter fix.
Yep.
So I definitely would take Halo. If I had to be more specific, I would take the Master Chief Collection because I could skeet away with 1 pick and get 4 games. But I would say also probably a Zelda. I would take maybe A Link to the Past. And man. Like I say, that's really tough. Probably Final Fantasy 2.
Biggie says Donkey Kong, Mrs. Pac-Man, and Final Fantasy 7. There you go. He's going with some old stuff and some kind of mid-range.
Interesting with interesting there. That's an interesting pick, Biggie. I mean, I'm thinking, you got to look at the scenario, right? So we're on an island. So you know what that means? I need games that I can play that are long and lasting, and then games that you can have replayability. So I remember playing Link to the Past. God, I must have beaten that 1,000,000 times. And Final Fantasy 2, I beat at least 3 or 4 times. And then I say Halo because, like, I've beaten Halo a bunch of times, and I'm just never bored of it. Like, I can't wait right now for 343 to do the X enhancement on the Master Chief Collection.
There's a bike right there next to the shed.
You grab that one, I'll grab this one.
Press right on your D-pad, brings up the night vision.
Oh yeah. All right, so we are. What's the mission here? Are we just riding to?
Yeah, we gotta ride up here to the road. Hang on, I'll set the waypoint so we actually know that we have the line. Drive up here to the road first. Cool. Real quick, I suppose, and I didn't have these on the docket, but Mooch, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite musical band?
Oof, man. So I'm not a movie nut. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like I'm not one of those people that would be like, dude, did you watch House of Cards yet? Have you seen Game of Thrones yet? Have you seen I'm not like movie and TV not like that. Like I enjoy them for what they are. But like I'm not like say must. I would say probably, great question with like favorite movie. I would say probably I got to give you 2.
Right.
Because I watch them. I don't watch them all the time now, but when they're on, I'll definitely watch them. So Shawshank Redemption, Definitely a
movie,
movie
good
I
call.
watch a lot. And the other one is probably, and this is kind of funny, because just like the way it was. I don't know, man. A Few Good Men. Um,
Good movie, good movie. Yeah,
that was a good
ones.
movie. And then I know you asked for two, but I'm gonna throw one more out. I gotta throw one more
Yeah,
out there.
go ahead.
Probably the original Die Hard.
Original Die Hard, yep. Good movie as well.
Props to Bruce Willis for being one of the first like regular dude badasses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he just got off a plane. He's getting in an argument with his ex-wife, and then he just saves the world. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy 1980s badass. You know?
Stinking Corpse says he likes Clerks too. Same with Biggie G. He likes comedy. He likes Clerks too, which is a pretty good movie if you like, what's his name, Smith, Kevin Smith stuff, which wasn't too bad. I remember that was pretty good as well. I guess how about
Yeah,
favorite
no, that's
band,
not bad.
Mooch? Your go-to band, man. When all else fails, who's your go-to?
Go-to band.
Not
Man.
Taylor Swift, is it?
No, it's not. You know, classic rock wise, big classic rock fan. And probably, you know, just out of respect, and I know a lot of people would say this, but like, I admire and I've seen
Okay, we might want to back it up
Roger
here. Hang on.
Waters a few times. So yeah, I lost my bike by the way because I tried to jump over a river and I fell in the river.
Okay, well, I'll wait for you here at this place so you can catch up because we're like right in the heat zone again. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm right near you though. I'm right
Okay,
here.
I'm gonna park, get off, and throw the drone up because there's fucking dudes all over this place. Old Metallica
So-
for Stinking Corpse, Eric Clapton for Biggie G, Bob Marley,
Nice.
depends on the mood.
I'd say Pink Floyd, but being a kid, you know, especially enjoying the '90s, Dave Matthews, man. I like Dave. I know a lot of people would say that's not a cool answer. I don't know. I like Dave Matthews. I've got almost all of his music. It's just cool, man. That just reminds me of summertime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hanging out with friends, doing stupid shit, having fun. You know what I mean? Like that was
Right.
always on, and that's the memory. But I definitely seen Roger Waters a few times with a lot of buddies in college and stuff like that. So Floyd was very cool as well.
Biggie G's poking fun at you now. Biggie G's like Mooch like in sync.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
The chat's
Sync.
great. They're just having some fun with it. All
It
right,
is
so cool.
great.
There's. I hope you guys learned a little bit something new about Mooch tonight. I mean, a little bit of his history, where he got his name, kind of systems. Excuse me. He grew up playing. Now let's get into some of the actual game topics. This one wasn't on my list originally, Mooch, but it's been kind of circulating and making some big headlines today. I think you know where I'm going with this one. There is rumors circulating, and again, we want to stress rumors that Microsoft is prepared to make a big acquisition, and there is some talks they might be looking at EA. Do you think there's any validity to that rumor? And if so, why do you think EA would be a good purchase? Why or why not? What's your take on that?
Well, you know, after doing YouTube and kind of trying to keep track of the news and what's going on in the gaming business, I would sit here and say to you that I definitely consider it just a rumor. It seems a little too big of a move, but I think it's got legs. I think the rumor has legs. I don't know why EA would be willing to do that. That's the only thing I don't understand. I don't know what their situation is. Maybe you know Microsoft's offering them a ton of money and they're going to take it.
Right.
I think it has a shot of being true. I don't think it's necessarily something I would run around rant and rave about. But I think it's crucial for Microsoft. I've been saying this all weekend since the whole week of Game Pass information has come and gone and all of that. Microsoft Game Pass will not, in my opinion, will not succeed unless they have some third-party games that release on day and date. So the minute I have that conversation with a lot of people, they'll say to me, Mooch, you know that's not going to happen. You're not going to see GTA 6 on Game Pass day one. No, you're not going to see GTA 6. But take this past year, for example, okay? The Evil Within 2, Wolfenstein 2. There was a couple of other handful of games that came out that I call AAA B+. They're AAA games, but they're B+. They're the games that they would just benefit from being on a Netflix-like service. And Microsoft, for the month, let's just say this, okay? So The Evil Within 2 came out in October. It came out in October. if Microsoft said to Bethesda, for the month of October, every time somebody on Game Pass downloads it, you're going to get $2 or $3 or $4, whatever. I don't know what the negotiation would be. That's a them problem. But that just for 1 month. Then after that, they would go down to a very simple charge. They maybe 50 cents or 75 cents for the publishing rights. That's fine. But think about the quality and think about what you'll get now. Now you're going to lock in the casuals because the casuals want to have all the 100 games that are in there that are older, plus the new Microsoft exclusives. And now you're going to get the hardcore because the first-party games from Microsoft are in there, and now you're getting AAA games that are part of third-party. And that's a big deal. It is a huge deal. It'll lock in more people. And that's how you can become the Netflix, if you will, quote-unquote, of a certain type of gaming system. Being just having 2 or 3 games that come out from Microsoft a year be like the say-all, end-all for Game Pass, it doesn't hold water for me. It just doesn't. I'm not saying it won't be around, but it's not that big of a deal. It needs third-party support. So by acquiring EA, what do? You put Madden and NHL and all these things that are in EA Access right now, day and date, into Game Pass. Keep a few things out of Game Pass that you acquire, but now Titanfall becomes one of your games. Mass Effect becomes one of your games. Dragon Age becomes one of your games. Anthem becomes one of your games. Imagine taking Anthem and making that in Game Pass day and date. Who's not getting that?
And on top of that, you don't have to compete for marketing rights with Sony anymore because you'll own the property, so you can control that aspect of the game. There's no more bidding wars. There's no more of that bullshit. And plus, not only will expand the Microsoft portfolio, it'll make Game Pass an absolute must-buy. There's almost like no way around it. It's everybody want to buy it. And it'll also strengthen Microsoft's portfolio in the other parts of the world where the Xbox and their ecosystem has struggled because FIFA's huge worldwide. I mean, Madden's huge North America in various places. So it strengthens the portfolio. It makes Game Pass almost like a must-buy because not everybody's going to be cooped on Microsoft titles. I think Microsoft gets that too. That there's not everybody out there wants Halo or Gears. They want other things. And Microsoft, I mean, obviously has to compete like the marketing rights. So there's a lot of bonuses. And people to say it can't happen, don't ever say it can't happen because back in the day we never thought we'd see Sonic on a fucking Nintendo system. It wasn't too long ago as well that Blizzard Entertainment bought, what was it, fucking Activision. So now they're merged. So I mean, they still have, what's it called, Activision Blizzard, isn't that the name of the company? But yet they still make games under the Blizzard moniker. They still sell them, but Activision's getting a large chunk of that pie. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, Biggie says, do you think it could be used as cross-play? I would say, well, fuck yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, it kind of forces Sony's hand now. Like, I mean, Microsoft could, almost monopolize the market. But Mooch, you think as well, because I think it would be smart, but do you think if they did buy them, again, they would still license those big games to Sony? Because I don't see them not, because they would stand to lose too much. There's too much market share on the Sony side to just say, fuck you guys.
Right. No, there's no way that these games wouldn't see Sony. I mean, a few of them you keep exclusive to Game Pass. Make Game Pass what you want it to be, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, like, which one, like, the sports games would be on PS4, PS5. Like, of course they would, because why would you take Madden sells like hotcakes? You're going to take Madden away from Sony? That doesn't make any sense. It's the same concept and thought process that goes into Minecraft. So, no, yeah, I think, though, you know what you do? You keep Anthem to an exclusive, or you keep just Titanfall to an exclusive, and then put the rest out there and make your money. I mean, Microsoft's in the business of making money. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's a different mindset right now. It's a different mindset. Not that these companies weren't in the mood for that before, but they were kind of handcuffed. They couldn't really do certain things. Now, the consumer thinks different. The businessman thinks different. Everything is just it's changing. Things are evolving right before our eyes.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, Drain says they would have to do what they did with Minecraft for, like, the sports and stuff, and, yeah, he has a point there. For sure they would, but, yeah, like, again, guys, it's just a rumor, but if it does be partly true, it won't be small news. It will be huge for Microsoft, especially. They'll be able to dictate where and when their properties get used and what they get used and how much they want to charge. like it's almost a win-win, but they would, you know, I mean, Microsoft could throw 200 million at that property, no problem, probably, or 200
Right.
billion.
Don't forget the other rumor today that has a lot more standing water than the EA is the whole PUBG.
Yeah.
There's a lot of very strong rumors that Microsoft is going to acquire that company. And that, my friend, I think would remain on Xbox.
Yes.
And throw that right in Game. We're going to be playing for years. That's something that I mean. I'm not necessarily a Game Pass customer because of the point of the matter is that like I buy the games I want right now, and until I see like third party or a game that I play every day, I'm probably, not getting Game Pass. I think I will be a Game Pass customer eventually.
Right.
Just not right away. I need to see a little bit more of that third-party support, or like a game like PUBG where I'm playing it all the time. And I mean, I already own PUBG, so bad example. But like, you know what I mean? A game like that. That's why I said Anthem should go in there. You buy that and put Anthem in there, and put BioWare in there. I mean, that's just wow. Because Anthem's a game that's like Destiny, where you have to go in every day. You're gonna have dailies and missions and yada yada. You fill in the blanks. Everybody knows what we're talking about. That's a sick acquisition to have and to acquire that. That's just awesome.
Yeah, PUBG makes more the logical sense overall, because I don't think Microsoft wants to sell the farm to try to buy EA. And as far as I can tell, while EA stock kind of plummeted a little bit over the Battlefront sort of fiasco, but they're still doing well. They're still one of the biggest, richest third-party publishers in the business. And, as long as their next steps are calculated accordingly, EA can certainly bounce back. They got enough properties. I mean, Madden alone and FIFA pretty much strengthen their bottom line every friggin' year. That's why you see, like, year after year, those properties come out. So, anyway, we're going to move on to topics, because I'm sure me and Mooch will probably get back into this again tomorrow night on Xbox Nation. Let's go with Sea of Thieves. It's quite topical right now. The beta's been out. Lots of people getting a chance to try it, Mooch. I do believe you've had a chance to kind of dive in a little bit. What's your impression of Sea of Thieves so far after the short take that you've seen? What's your take on it? Do you think this game's got legs?
I think it has the possibility of having legs. I think the infrastructure's there. I've talked to a lot of people that are, I wouldn't use the words in the know, but they've talked to people that I know that are somewhere in the business. And to be honest with you, I do think Sea of Thieves is going to be around for a very long time. So if you're a Sea of Thieves fan, I'll say this much. You're going to be pleasantly surprised with what's going to happen with Sea of Thieves. Initially, off of the beta, it's a beautiful game. I think that they're just testing things right now, so we didn't get a whole lot of it. I think there needs to be a lot more content, which is definitely coming. This is only like 10 or 15% in the beta.
Right.
Which means we're going to have 5 times more ways to get treasure, 5 times the amount of potions, and 5 times more the amount of weapons, and it's going to be a lot more stuff coming to the game. So I guess in short, Newf, because I could ramble on Sea of Thieves for a while. I think it's got the infrastructure to be something very, very big for Microsoft. Very big. Will it be? That's going to be partially up to Rare, and then partially up to the community and how much they're willing to support it while Rare gets more and more content out.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm enjoying the game, actually, probably even a little bit more than I expected to enjoy it. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about long-term longevity, but I find that Sea of Thieves, in an odd way, shares some similarities with, like, PUBG. It has this sort of almost like a hard-to-describe quality that just draws you back in, whether you want to play for an hour or half an hour. I think it's that perfect streaming, that perfect, fuck-around kind of game, where you don't have to take it all that seriously. But I think the ultimate enjoyment, I think you can play it and enjoy it quite fine on your own. I do believe that, when you got, 4 really good crewmates that have some sense of what they're doing and sense of direction and and of course you're all mic'd up and stuff, I think it kind of takes on a new life of its own. I think it's going to do good. Biggie asked, do you think that it could outsell PUBG, say, in lifetime sales? I don't know. You can take that one.
Man, that's a good one, Biggie. I don't think so. Only because of the sensation it's become even on PC. And don't forget, you can't say, well, no, I meant just Xbox, because Sea of Thieves is going to be on PC.
Yeah.
And so is, then again, PUBG's on
He says
Steam.
on consoles and not on PC. Well, here's the thing, Biggie. Ask us that question again, I think, in 3 months after the game comes out. Because I really think this that's going to be the telltale sign of where Sea of Thieves goes. It's going to be within that first 3 to 6 month window. And if that game is still somewhere, I think somewhere on the leaderboard, that's still somewhere like in people's play routines, then I think that's going to tell us everything we need to know. That's just my opinion, guys. But I think that first 6 month window, if that game is still sort of like kicking, then I think Rare is only going to keep adding to the game, and I do think that it will have steady sales. It might not light the world on fire. I'm not expected to come out and it's going to do 10 million copies in like fucking a month, but I think it's one of those that will sell. And as the price goes down too, like, I mean, obviously a lot of people are going to get it on Game Pass, which is a no-brainer. And if the price goes down, say even on like disc, it goes to like 30 or 40 bucks or something, and it will. Then I think a lot of people are going to snag it up. And it's the kind of game, too, that, like, kids and families can play. I've already heard, like, dads and moms say, like, how they're really enjoying playing this game with the family because it's got that kind of aesthetic to it where, I mean, as kids, not many of us, as kids, we've all pretty much played, cops and robbers or cowboys and Indians and, and pirates and stuff, you know what I mean? And this is as close as I think you can kind of get, and it has that cartoony feel. There's no blood and guts. There's no swearing. There's just, the only people swearing are the people playing the game going,
That's a good point, Newf. That's a really good point, that it's a wholesome family game. You can play it with the kids. You can play it with, at a party. I mean, you can almost have a party kind of theme with it. You know what I mean? Because it's fun for any. And it seems, listen, it's also intuitive to the point where it's easy to pick up the controller and play it. So let's say it's not intimidating, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest, okay? So like this game has a lot going on to it, a lot of moving parts. Like, I haven't played it. I played it for what? Like I said, I played it for about an hour.
Yeah.
So and it was like 2 months ago. So I don't remember anything. I mean, I've been playing games for so long that I don't mind to get into this. And me and you actually played Newf. We could rock, 4 or 5 missions in no time.
Yeah, we're
but
screwing
like somebody
around
that
with
doesn't
this
play
right now.
games.
We're
just going around.
We want to
but
make sure you're not. I think these guys are the worst Ghost Recon players we've ever seen. If I was paying attention to what I'm doing, trust me, and me and Mooch weren't trying to have another conversation. We'd be coordinating and this shit would be rocking. We're just going to steal a chopper and fuck around. We're going to steal that chopper and go for a little flight. So yeah, you can take it away and just finish up the topic on Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, my last thought on it was just that I think it's going to do well because Microsoft's investing in it. Rare is putting their heart and soul into it. I think people are ready for a game like this that's going to be constantly evolving. And I also think that it is not a game that's intimidating. And again, you have to understand what I mean by that. I mean a casual gamer will play Sea of Thieves.
Yes.
Like, that is something that a casual player will not, I repeat, probably will not play like a Destiny or play Ghost Recon or Monster Hunter, because they'll look at the menu system and they're like, dude, I'm not playing this game for it's Monster Hunter isn't even that complex. Like, I started Witcher, playing Witcher after the X enhancement came out, and that game is just, I mean, just to make all the potions and elixirs and bombs and yada, it's just in the side quests. I mean, it's 600 plus hours to beat that game. I know some people probably done it in 300, but I mean 600 is to destroy it. And this game's beautiful, man. Wow, this game's got.
I know, on the Xbox One X it really pops.
Wow.
Yeah, so Sea of Thieves, guys, like I said, it's a pretty good game. like Mooch says, it's very accessible, and I think part of what the magic too, it's kind of complicated at first because it doesn't have the HUD, it doesn't have a whole lot of like tutorial aspects, but I think that's what makes the game fun. Because I'll tell you, one of the coolest things that I really liked about it, Mooch, was how like all of a sudden how it uses sort of like real world physics to a degree. Like for example, if you come in on the shore too fast and you don't drop the sail, you can hit the wharf, or you can hit something to knock a hole in the boat. And then it's not just, oh, I have a hole in the boat, the water's coming in, and then you have to go and get a bucket to bail it out, and your buddy can patch it up with a board. It really has that great teamwork aesthetic, and it has a little bit of physics. So like for example, if you drop the anchor in that game way too fast, I don't know if people knew this, you can actually sink your ship because it'll basically tear a hole in the boat, and it'll it'll start leaking. And if you walk away from it before it's secured, you could come back and your boat is capsized and the sharks are friggin' eating you. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy game, and there's a lot more to it apparently. If you look at the stories online, this is just a very simple taste of what's to come. And boy, if there's nothing else about that game, you have to admit, is that not the most realistic and amazing sea physics and graphics you have ever freaking seen?
Well, yeah, here we are. We sit here and we're playing a game like Ghost Recon. We're saying how beautiful this game is and how amazing it is and this and that. And then you look at the water that's in Sea of Thieves, and it is amazing. Just amazing. Yeah, no, I've never seen anything like it, to be honest with you. I've never seen anything like it. The water looks real, the way the sun hits off the reflection, the actual droplets off of the wave crashing. So as the boat pushes down into the wave crashes up, the water that comes up hits the side of the boat. It's truly, truly a work of art. It's truly a work of art. It's amazing.
Hey Mooch, we're gonna do something now that will make Cletus proud. How about?
What do you got? Make Cletus proud. So great. Oh man, that's really funny that you can do all this stuff in this game. This game is just ridiculously.
Yeah, the water's amazing. My biggest complaint with the Sea of Thieves graphics is that I don't know where the hell Rare came up with the character models, but they all look like they've been beat with the ugly stick. Like, holy smoke.
Yeah, I know they're going for that. They look like a 2018 version of Star Fox. Right. You know what I mean? They're all polygoned out, like they're everybody's face is a triangle. Yeah, I think they could have done a better job with the character animations. I also think the skeletons and the enemies right now don't look all that good. But I think that'll change. I think that'll change with time. I think we're just... I think they have different character models.
Let's get into the next topic, and this one should be a real quick one. PlayStation Network down again. But now we've heard this story before, PlayStation Network down, but here's something I haven't seen as much of. I'm really starting, for the first time in a long time, I'm seeing like some PlayStation fans actually start to really complain about it now. Like it's getting, like I think they've been down a couple of times in the last 3 or 4 days. Like, I'm not sure why this is an issue, but between the maintenance that they're always scheduling and just the random dropouts and shit not working, and yes, guys, we understand Xbox Live is not perfect, but honestly, if you go through the track record of both services, Xbox Live, okay, is head and shoulders above that other one, let me tell you. So what do you think, Mooch? Is it a big issue? Is it just par for the course? What do you think's going on over at Sony for this thing to be as constantly shit as it is?
I think what it is they told everybody that this generation you would be paying for online, and they would put that money back into their online service. Well, like Sony loves to do with their smoke and mirrors, they didn't do that. You know, they didn't do that at all, and they've taken that money and they probably put it into R&D, PSVR, who knows.
I think they took the money from PlayStation customers and paid for those fucking marketing deals. That's where it went. It didn't go back into the tech.
Oh, it could be. That could very well be. It went anywhere but the tech, and that's fine. But I mean, listen, like you said, Xbox Live has had its issues in the past.
Yeah.
And but Sony, my problem with Sony and PSN isn't even the fact with the maintenance, and it's not that it goes down for a week at a time. That's not even it. Yeah. My problem with free service on PS3 and now it's not. Yeah. A lot of people just like I always call Sony the lonely station 4. I play games on PlayStation more now than I've ever before.
Yeah.
And there's just nobody ever on there, man. I mean, even when I see Xbox guys playing a PlayStation game, a big release comes out, like nobody just joins up in a party or reaches out. Like I was on Monster Hunter. Don't want to interrupt the game or anything like that, but like, is the game awesome? What's up? What's going on? And then they hang out and we chill and we bullshit. And that's Xbox, man. And there's just like, I mean, I know that doesn't have anything to do with Xbox Live going down or PSN going down, but the reason PSN to me is just not all that is because it just doesn't have. It seems so dead. It just seems so.
Stinging Corpse said,
Star
Trek Bridge Crew for the win.
Yeah, that is. I'll be honest with you, man. We got to do that. We all got to do that again because that is a fun game to play with friends. Had fun with Jago, and I always say it wrong because I'm not a Killer Instinct fan. I know everybody's gonna hate that, but I don't like fighters that much. When I was a kid, I loved Mortal Kombat and I loved Street Fighter 2, and that was it. Like after I got older, I was like, I'm not gonna play fighters, so I don't really play a lot of like Killer Instinct or anything. I have Killer Instinct, I don't play it.
Well, Mooch, one thing that I find it too, besides the fact, okay, they have more maintenance or they have more issues, is they don't communicate it very well with their fans. Like I find Xbox does a better job between Xbox support or even their executives, or they just kind of like when there's something going on right off the bat, like even if you go to like Xbox, even on the dashboard, a lot of times when something doesn't work, they goes unavailable right now, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like somebody usually kind of puts something out, whereas on PlayStation, you don't really know nothing. And all of a sudden you wait for like an article to come out from some source that says PlayStation's not working. It's like, why don't Sony communicate that a little better? Usually it's like after the fact and they go, we are sorry for the delay or whatever's going on. But like they just don't seem to communicate that as well. Is that my perception or am I kind of hitting the money?
No, you are. It's Sony smoke and mirrors effect. That's what they do. They don't want to sit there and tell you. Their executives don't talk to people. They don't have a Sony support like Xbox support where something's down. Also, when someone goes, geez, I wonder what's going on, you go check out on Xbox.com what's going on with Xbox Live, and it'll tell you core services are down or the store is down, so you can play games with friends, but it's right now they're fixing something that's not working properly in the store, or or vice versa. It's a lot of there's no communication with Sony. Sony's not for the players. That's the thing, and everybody kind of got duped into that in 2013. Sony's one of the most, like, I think, anti-consumer type companies, and that's fine. Like I said, listen, they're there to make money. So that's fine. The part where I kind of just make a point to point and say, this isn't right, is that the media and a lot of other people will all of a sudden just, they're like, Sony's the darling, and I'm like, why? What are they doing for you? What have they done for you?
Yeah.
Even the first 2 years of this generation, there was no games on Sony, and now they have a bunch. But like nobody cared back then, Remember that
Exactly.
famous turned infamous news article of Andrew House saying, 2015 is sparse.
Yeah,
and,
I think that they know, like overall, they know that their service is well, it's come a long way because fuck anybody can tell you that PS4 online is a hell of a lot better than it was on PlayStation 3, and it should be because you're paying for it now.
Yes.
But I mean, there's no more excuses. But I think that Sony doesn't like to draw. They already know it's inferior to Microsoft, and most of us know that, especially if you own both systems. Like anybody that owns multiple consoles will pretty much tell you. And I've had some PlayStation guys that are actually honest about it, say, no, Xbox Live is far better. But like Sony executives don't want to admit that because then it draws more attention to the fact that they haven't fixed a lot of their issues, so they sweep it under the rug like they always do.
No, I hear you. I think that's the case. I think it's really just... The thing is, though, you made a point, and you made a good point, but it's not about PS3 was worse and PS4 is better because we're paying for it or this and that and the other thing. Not really that. Like, right now, Sony's PS4, PSN is in competition with Xbox Live. And it's not what Xbox Live is. It's just not. And that's the fact of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the only aspect that Sony's been kind of kicking ass and is pretty much the game their PlayStation Plus games each month, which have been for the most part relatively good. that sort of thing. And we obviously knew that Games of Gold would take a drop because they're trying to attract people to Game Pass now, and I think that will only
Right.
that won't get any better. We'll see just older titles, because that's what I've noticed. A lot of the titles we're getting, they seem to be older games that are good, but people sort of forgot about them. So you either never played them before, missed them on the 360, or what have you. So, yeah, but it is
I have
what
a
it
question
is, man.
for you, Noof, actually. Staying like on the Sony subject here. So, like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, all these games are coming out, Far Cry 5,
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves, Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, of course, Red Dead Redemption 2, and of course, well, naturally, Sea of Thieves. I'm going to be playing on Xbox. But I was like, wait a minute. I have a PS4 Pro. And yes, we're all going to get God of War. I get it, this and that. I'm going to get it too. But the thing about it is, I was thinking, do you ever stop and think maybe I should buy one multi-plat when there's like a plethora of games coming out? Should I buy a multi-plat that is on PlayStation, since I'm not on PlayStation a lot? Like, so I thought, I don't know if I'm going to.
Well, I was
thought
tempted
maybe
to buy
I would
Monster
buy.
Hunter for PlayStation.
Okay. Okay, well, now see that I would actually say no, because
We'll leave a
you
marker
have
so the rebels can
predominantly
pick up
the people
supplies
that
later.
you talk to playing Monster Hunter on Xbox.
Right.
So I would say no, but my recommendation would be to buy Far Cry 5,
Right.
because it's a single player game, and it's
Well, it's got co-op
yes,
multiplayer.
it's probably going to be. Is it full-fledged co-op or like a couple of missions co-op?
No, it's full-fledged. If I'm correct, I think it's full-fledged 4-player co-op.
Oh, well, that changes things then. I did not know that. Other Far Cries have not been like that. So.
Far Cry 3 had a 4-player, but the thing was, I think you had to play the initial. I think it was Far Cry 3. You had to play through like the initial hour or something, kind of by yourself, and once you got through like that tutorial segment, then it opened up to your buddies.
Huh. I really don't remember. I played Far Cry 3. I beat the crap out of that game. I loved it. And
Yeah.
I literally I don't remember any co-op. I know Far Cry
Yeah, it was in
4
there.
had introduced co-op, but it was only like 2 or 3 missions.
Let's go
You know
grab
what I
the
mean?
truck.
It was
before
certain
we drive.
missions.
Far Cry
So,
4 was called
yeah.
according to Drain. I wouldn't know because I have
you-
dabbled with Far
but-
Cry 4 and 3, but I never really like played them or beat them. Those are games I
Well,
have to go
whoever
back to.
just answered you, ask them if Far Cry 3 was co-op. 'Cause I don't remember that.
So, Drain, do you remember if Far Cry 3 had co-op? I'm almost 100% positive it did because I remember my buddies playing it. I just remembered there was something about the initial part of the game. You couldn't play it with your buddies until they all passed the sort of like the training level or whatever it was. Spider-Man says
I know
he doesn't
Far-
know.
Far Cry 4 was co-op, but it was only co-op on certain missions, not the whole game.
Okay, so we got a few more topics, guys. We are like definitely well over time tonight. I figured me and Mooch would, and as long as Mooch is not too tired, I don't care where the podcast runs because I'm having a great time here. But yeah, we got a few more topics. We're going to move along here. Let's get into the next one, Mooch. Well, first of all, and this is a good one, Monster Hunter World, you have it. You were gifted that game, and you're enjoying it, apparently.
Yes.
So give us your take on that, and do you think that it lives up to some of the high reviews it's been getting?
It does live up to it. I'm enjoying it quite a bit, actually. Like I say, shout out to Biggie2316 and shout out to Scythe Effects. And yeah, I like what it is. Learning curve. I've destroyed now, I don't know, 4 monsters, maybe 5.
Okay.
And it's a lot of fun, man. It's definitely a game that I'm going to be playing the rest of. I mean, January's almost over. All of February, and most of March until we get to Sea of Thieves. That's the game I'll be playing. So you'll be, if you see me on your friends list, you'll be seeing me play that. It's hard to explain. You go out, you kill the creature that's, basically I'll call it a contract. It's not a contract, but there's tasks and situations you go out you have to do. Once you kill them, you gain different properties off of that monster. You also collect things in the wild You go back, you forge them with the smithy, or smithy, and then you just keep doing that over and over and over again. So you get your character that much stronger. And it's a game that's meant to be played with friends.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind,
And
guys.
it is
If you're gonna go
4-player
get
co-op,
Monster
right?
Hunter and play, yes.
Yeah, Biggie
I've
says
only
that it's
played
better
with
with friends, and
3.
Spider-Man says he killed like 20 monsters. Drain says he's hooked on the game.
Yeah, I mean, well, for Spider, I have a question for Spidey then. Like, what's the deal with that? Like, he's killed 20 monsters. Is his character like OP yet? Is he a boss in that now, or is it still a lot left to do?
So is there a lot left to do, Spider-Man, since you've killed that many monsters? Mooch is asking you there, so you've been directed a question by the Mooch. Takes him a little while to type it in.
No, I understand.
Later on, you have to capture and trap the monsters, too. Not a lot left to do, he says at that point. So how many hours would you say you've kind of put into it so far to do 20 monsters? It sounds like you'd probably be at least 10 hours into the game.
I think he's got more than that. If I had to guess, you'd say 30 or 40 hours.
Okay.
He's got into it, maybe? I don't know, it's a guess.
What's going on, Monkey Punch?
Monkey Punch,
Train,
nice.
Monkey Punch, Spider-Man, Stinking Corpse. Lots of people hanging out with us tonight. Game Down Sights, I think he was here earlier. Lots of great guys hanging out here. Thanks so much for supporting us on the stream here, guys. Hope you're enjoying it so far, the one-on-one with Mooch. We are winding things down. So Monster Hunter, bottom line consensus is it is a pretty good game. It seems to be living up to the hype. A lot of people are really enjoying it, and I'm happy for it. I played the beta, and I wasn't sold on the beta, but I am willing to give the game another chance. I mean, maybe I'll pull a Mooch and someone will gift it to me, or maybe I'll pick it up. I might go trade in No Man's Sky, since that fucking game just about bored me to tears last week when I played it for the first time. I was like, the game has potential, but there's just something about it I just couldn't get into. But I might trade it. Apparently EB's got a double trade credit on, so it might be a good time to trade a couple of games I know I won't be playing. And you can't see the stream. Stop the stream and fire it back up, or what you want to do is in the program in Mixer itself, go to the little settings tab and hit low latency, and that usually fixes that up depending on what you're watching it on. Now here's an interesting one, Mooch. I don't know if you caught this. It was on Twitter and somebody brought attention to it. Apparently somebody had mentioned to Cliffy B, I think it was a fan, that said you know, they miss Cliffy B, and they said, if the opportunity come up to work for Microsoft and make a game with them, would you consider it? And he said, apparently his quote to the guy was, I can dream. So do you think like there is a possibility that, you know, Microsoft, if they caught wind of this, could maybe perhaps, you know, steal Cliffy away, maybe hire his team, I don't know, like maybe do another project, because it sounds like he's still interested, whether he wanted to admit it or not, and perhaps, you know, to get with Microsoft again, they could collaborate, make something huge. I think he's a very talented guy, maybe a little egotistical, but we can't deny, I mean, he's got a gift for pretty decent games, right? So what do you think?
I think he's got a chance of coming back. I think Microsoft still wants to work with him. You know, I would never really agree to that if it was any other business. Like a lot of other people, like you see, they would never do that. But Microsoft is not. They don't hold grudges. They don't do this. They don't do that. They're fine with everything. So yeah, I think that they are. They're fine with everything. Doesn't matter what you say, what you do. Yes, they are. They are. They really are. They have more candles than Yankee. I think, to be honest with you, yeah, true story. But you know, I wouldn't mind seeing Cliffy come back and do something. I actually, you know, I like I said, I don't really care for some of his personal opinions and how he talks on Twitter to people, but because listen, we all say what we say, but you know what? We all have regular 9 to 5s. We all go to work. We do this for fun. Yeah. Something we've all been doing for many decades, and we enjoy to talk about it. Different when someone like me or you say something versus somebody who's in the business that says it and really is hurtful. You know what I mean? Like he's hurt Microsoft and different. He said things that are just ridiculous. Why would you burn bridges? I don't understand. But I do think that there's a possibility. I think it would be nice if he came back. I think listen, I would give it a shot, right? I mean, if he had a good game, I'd buy it. Yeah,
I think there have to be stipulations in the contract that, you know, like, give him the creative freedom to do what he needs to get done, but also, you know, make sure that, you know what, like, he's on for a term. He knows what he's getting into. You know what I mean? Like it's basically like, dude, you gotta put up or shut up. You know what I mean? Like, we'll take you back. We believe that you got the talent to make a great product, but, you know, don't burn us again, and, you know, that sort of thing. And with the right team, who knows? I mean, you never know. Maybe he goes back with Rod and works under Rod at Coalition. You never know. I don't see that happen. I mean, it's just, again, this was just a tweet, and it's all figurative stuff. I mean, it's fucking piss in the wind, basically. But you never know these days and ages. It doesn't sound like Cliffy wants to get out of the game business, and, you know, money don't last forever. I mean, I'm sure he demands a rich guy. But, I mean, Lawbreakers didn't exactly make him money hand over fist if it made him anything at all after the cost of the game and paying the staff, considering it basically fucking tanked. So, you know, I think he's coming to realize that because the Blazinski name is on the box doesn't mean his game is an instant success. I think he's finally getting wind of that now. And he's like, oh, fuck, you know what I mean?
I think you're 100% right. And I think that's why his quote is means so much when he was like, you know, now when they ask him, do you think Microsoft came calling you answer the phone? And he was like, you know, you could wish, because you know, that's a bona fide chance. It's a bona fide opportunity when Microsoft calls you. You know, the money's in the bank, the money's in, you know, it's in the mail, it's on the way, and that's not the way it always is when you have to deal with trying to get investors and this and that. When Microsoft calls you, you know, the money's coming, and that's a big deal.
But I think if Microsoft gets wind of that, you know, at least they know that he's leaving the door open, that he's objective to it, and that's kind of good, because you never know, they might sit around. Right now, Microsoft is hurting for first party games, big titles, you know, and again, Cliffy was a huge part of this Gears of War franchise and the success that it had, and you can't deny that. I mean, he tried something with Lawbreakers, but I think, you know what, the world wasn't ready for another Overwatch clone. I mean, so early. You know, into Overwatch's life cycle. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what it was. It was another Overwatch game, and it just didn't. And I think it would have had a better chance if they had it on Xbox. But again, I think he learned that lesson too. That Xbox is where, you know, where people like to do the shooters.
It is. I mean, people call this. It's funny. People call you the shooter box for years, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you. You know. Let's put a shooter on PlayStation. You're like, well, that's not really what? Why? Yeah, I'm not gonna make it much longer. I ran right into the enemy, but
no, I did too. You know, putting some of those obscure shooters on the PlayStation is like trying to play fucking Twister with a bunch of Buddhist monks. You know what I mean? It's just it's gonna be awkward. You know?
It sure is. Yes. Oh, that guy just came out of the woods.
I don't know, just the thought of a Buddhist monk playing Twister just kind of made me laugh. Don't mean to sound derogatory or anything, because that's not what I meant. But okay, so fair enough. That topic is pretty much done. We're coming down to the end of this, guys. I know it's me and Mooch are just having such a great time, and it's very rare that, you know, I mean, Mooch and Crap going one-on-one, it's an everyday thing, but me and Mooch doing this is actually it's probably the first time ever. Well, we've talked about the Game Pass stuff. I think we're kind of in there as well. But let's just talk about one aspect of it, Mooch. A few retailers, I know there's smaller ones, and they're in the UK and things, but there has been some backlash, I guess, from retailers about this, thinking it's not good. And I find it kind of funny because... I find it funny, Mooch, and I'll tell you why I find it kind of funny, because for years the retailers didn't give a shit about the game companies and give a shit about the fact that they spend so much to make these games, and that basically they sell these, they make their profits on used games, which the developers and the publishers see not one friggin' penny, and then the gamers themselves, while they think they're winning because they're, you know, saving $5 on the next Call of Duty game, they're not helping. They're not really helping anybody. They're not really helping themselves other than saving a few bucks. And you know, and this is a big reason why we switched to digital so fast, because of the practices that places like GameStop have had, where they rip customers off hand over fist. that sort of stuff. And I think people started to wise up. I think there's more to it than just, hey, sell a digital game and be cheaper. I think that has a lot to do with it. And I personally think that those retailers need to kick themselves in the ass, because what they should have done when the market started to trend and started to turn was they should have approached the developers and the game companies and tried to figure out a way that both parties could mutually benefit from the sale of the used games. I think that was their mistake. They shouldn't have been, like sometimes it's okay. Like it's kind of like the millionaire thing. When somebody wins like $10 million, like you're okay with $7 million. You don't need the full 10. You know what I mean? You're still a millionaire, right?
Right.
And I think the game companies as well are very greedy. I mean, obviously the publishers are too. They don't give a fuck either. But I think at some point they should have at least reached out and said, how can we make this beneficial so we can give back to you at least a cut or percentage of the game sales that are used. But they didn't do that. But anyway, I don't want to drag on. I want to let you answer this question. We're going to open up the floor to some questions. So what do you think about the retailer backlash? Could this be the start of a much bigger problem down the road?
No, and I'll tell you why. First of all, let's go back to what you said. These GameStops and this and that, their whole thing is making money on used games. So for years they've been ignoring the publisher and the developers, and they've had no remorse. Secondly, take GameStop. Everybody, just picture your local GameStop, okay? Now take Xbox take them right out of there. It's not a gaming store anymore. It's become just a PlayStation 4 store. And it loses a little bit, right? It loses its muster. It doesn't have what it once was. Picture like a movie theater, but we're not gonna show Scorsese anymore. We're not gonna show Carpenter, and we're not gonna show this. We're not gonna show all these directors. Then it becomes like you're like, well, I don't really like this movie theater anymore because I'm not getting part of the games that I want in here. They really don't have that kind of power. These ones you see doing it, they're trying to make a statement. They're trying to go first, trying to see if other people follow them. But they're all going to have Xbox back in their store in no time. They can't do that. And if they can, then they're going to be selling a lot more T-shirts and become like, a different type of retail store. But long story longer, I don't think it's anything. I think it's just a lot of nonsense. I think it's a lot of talk. And no, I think they went for years and years and years in all these stores selling used out and developers out in the wind. So now that Microsoft's going this route, which everybody is, right? I mean, movies, DVD, everything is digital. Music, the iPod, which is now the phones, and it turned into everything is all digital music, digital movies. Yeah. So digital games and having a streaming service is not that crazy. I don't like streaming games right now. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
That's like 10 years from now. But
Drain says he doesn't buy from GameStop anymore. Spider-Man says people still buy the disc. That's true, because I still buy the disc. I like the disc, and I don't intend to change that anytime soon, at least till I'm forced to change it.
Right.
But that's just me.
I think it's funny how you say that all the time, Newf. I don't know, like, I'm not sure why you like physical as much as you do.
Well, you know what? Actually, here's part of the reason, okay? Because this just happened, and this could have been a topic tonight, and I kind of forgot about it, but I brought it up in a podcast. That game, Paragon. Paragon was a digital-only title you could get on the PS4, and I do believe you could get it on the Xbox, right? I'm not 100% sure on that. Right. But it was supposed to be a big title. I think it was made, again, Paragon, it did have something to do with Epic developers and stuff. But that game is apparently getting shut down, and they're going to offer refunds of all the stuff, in the game purchases. Like, bottom line is, when, like, I don't know, like, I feel like it's okay to force the industry where you want it to go. I mean, obviously the majority of fans want digital games. It's been proven by the statistics. But I think you still got to give the other guys options. Even if it is a small option, you still got to give it. Just like stores today still give people the option to buy a DVD or a Blu-ray or a CD. You can still get a CD, and then fuck that technology's old as the shits. But at least the option is still there, and that's all I want is ask for the option. It's up to me. If I want to pay $60 a game and get ripped off because I could have got it for $10 a Game Pass, that's my prerogative. That's just something for me, and I'll admit, yes, right. I can't dissuade that it's a better deal to get fucking Game Pass. I mean, I'd be an idiot to say that it's not. But at the end of the day, too, when they want to shut the server down or they want to cancel the game or they stop making a disc and say no, like you can't get it anymore. I made a perfect reference to even things like little things. Like, let's talk about Crazy Taxi, right? The game first came out on Sega Dreamcast, and it had the songs by The Offspring in it. And when they made the re-release of the game, like the remaster for the Xbox 360, they lost the licensing to that game. So if you downloaded that game today, song in it anymore because they didn't relicense it. So even getting the original version of the game that you knew and loved could potentially change because licenses can change with it. So there's a lot of reasons that I think the disc-based copy is still relevant because they can't. Well, I suppose they could change it through an update though. If it's an online title, that's the problem. We saw that too because they change games all the time with updates. So I guess I'm kind of actually being hypocritical here because I never thought about that either, that if the license ran out, they could easily go in an update and there it goes, it's gone. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, bottom line is you got a little bit of a collector's thing. You have a little bit of nostalgia. First of all, I mean, when you buy a disc game, even though I know they don't read off the disc anymore, the game boots up and loads faster because you don't have to rely on the internet speed. It kind of installs. So there's still becoming fewer and further between, but as long as you can kind of see where I'm going with that, I like the collection as well. And
I do.
You know, and
I think
I'm not ready to change until
we're at a point, though.
You know.
We're at a point now, and don't get me wrong, I understand it's first world problems, but life has now changed, right? Life has changed. Let me give you an example. So, like, my entire life growing up, I used to make ice cubes by grabbing the tray, going to the sink, filling up the cubes, sticking it in the freezer, waiting 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 hours, then having ice, okay? Now you go over and you just put your cup, you hold your cup underneath the thing, you push the button, ice comes out. You know, you can go as easy as ice, and you can go all the way to movies. The point is, right now, I just played 3 different games in the past 3 hours. You know, PUBG, Monster Hunter, this. I didn't get up, I didn't move, I just clicked the button, and I went right to a different game. And you might go, oh, so what, blah, blah. And it's like, it's not that it's a big deal, but it's how we play now. It's how we live. It's
But here's something that
different.
Drain brings up in the chat. He says, funny thing about music movies is you do get better quality from the disc. There's no advantage to buying a game disc quality-wise. Now, for Microsoft, it might be a little different because you do download the games to the hard drive, and that makes a huge difference. But you take in Sony's case, digital makes even less sense for them because, like PlayStation now, everything's streamed. And, like, we've seen what the quality can be like there, and it's hit or miss. 1 minute it's decent, the next minute it's terrible, or your internet connection goes down, and that sort of stuff.
Right.
So for them, it makes even less sense.
Well, he makes a good point.
Owner.
There's really, there's the only perk to the digital era here is the convenience.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're paying the same amount of money, or in most cases, digital sales are less.
Yeah.
You know, they're less, and because if you wait a week or two, you can get a digital title for like $20 off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Depends on the sale or whatever. And I think it's just easier. I mean, it's just so much easier to flip through a game. And then when a new console comes out, you don't have to re-download it. You just take your external, plug it in, start playing.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there, and that's the one thing I like is like sometimes when you do because I have digital games and my whole collection's not physical. Obviously the PlayStation or the the PlayStation Plus games, the Xbox Live games at Gold, I download those obviously because I don't have the discs anymore, and why would I go out and buy them when I can get them for free? But like it's nice, like you say, it's when you put the hard drive in and your buddy says, hey, I want to play this game. You could be doing anything else, and with the flick of a button, hey, you're up and ready to roll. Game's going. You don't have to look around for it. You don't have to worry about if the disc got scratched up or the kids ate it or the fucking dog shit it out. And
what if you have like 2 consoles? I have 2 consoles. So like Dark Souls 3, I bought on disc. So sometimes I was playing it downstairs, and then sometimes I was playing it upstairs, and then sometimes like a buddy of mine, Scythe would be like, hey, let's play Dark Souls, and I'm like, all right, let's go. And I'm sitting there waiting for him to just get online. And while I'm waiting for him to get online, I didn't go downstairs. What do I gotta do? And then I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I've got this downstairs. I gotta like turn on my Xbox downstairs, right? I turn it on, which locked me off upstairs. Then I gotta grab the disc, come upstairs, take the disc out that I forgot I even had in the one up here, because I only have like maybe 6 or 7 or 10 or 12, I don't know, maybe 12 at most. Physical copies. I went every day because even copies I bought a lot physical when the beginning of the generation, I bought them all on sale for like $10, and I got them all digital now.
Yeah.
And
But here-
it's just like, oh my god, man, I gotta go downstairs. It's all first world problem stuff.
Right. But the other thing for me too, right? Like I said to someone, this is a thing with me as well. Like, I've already got, like for example, with me, right? I got my cell phone bill. I got my friggin' cable. Like I got Netflix. Like like so many fees coming out every month, and while like $10 doesn't sound too much in the grand scheme of things, as again, it's another $10 a month, $12 Canadian, and that's every single month. And like it's just more fees. And the thing is, yeah, well, right now they're like stupid cheap, like $10 or $12. We don't know where that market's going to go, because I always know that as soon as a company gets a monopoly on something, they fucking jack the prices up. Fuck, when Walmart's fucking started closing out all the other stores, their fucking prices went through the roof. Walmart's not as cheap as they used to be. And same thing, like Netflix has had like 3 increases now since I've been a member. Actually, they suspended my increase for the first couple of years because I was I was one of the initial members of Netflix, right? So the inaugural members, they didn't put it up, but the new members, they did. But even since then, I've had a couple of increases. No, while they're not big increases, they're still increases. And like I say to people, I don't like it because I feel like I'm paying for content that I don't want. Like, I'm not a big fan of all their in-house movies and all their in-house movies and all their programs. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not. And I feel like I got to bear the brunt of that cost because other people want to watch those Marvel shows. And I'm like, no, I want my big AAA blockbuster movies. I never asked for fucking Daredevil and all that shit. Like, I could give a rat's ass about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I got to pay the price for it. I don't think it's fair to me, but it is what it is, right? And I can see Microsoft, as soon as they get, like, their numbers are into the millions, they get 4 or 5 million people subscribing to Game Pass, and whoop-de-doo, here we go. Here's your $15 and $17 and $20. And, of course, we'll all justify it because we're like, well, game costs are rising and it's still a good deal. But bottom line is, it's not the sweet deal that they bait you in with, right? It's like the old Columbia House deal. Give you 10 fucking CDs for a penny and then fucking overcharge you for the shit afterwards, right?
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and that's the whole thing. I mean, Netflix did it too. It was $7.99. Now it's, I don't know what it is for a single subscription to Netflix, because I do it with four of us.
I think I'm paying
for
hearing me.
It's cheaper if you do it in a group.
Yeah, I think I'm paying $11.99. I think for mine, if I'm correct. I think it's $10.99. Yeah, $10.99.
We have 4 of us that are doing it, so you get it on a bunch of screens more. It's like 4 families. We all chip in, and I think we're at like seven and change for 4 people. But it's I mean, it's a larger bill, but if you have 4 people splitting it, and it is what it is. And look, that was what they did. You just said it yourself. I mean, it started at 7. I'm at 7 now because I'm with 4. But like realistically, if I went alone, like you said, it's $11 or $12 a month. And that's a huge increase from the $7.99 it started at the stream, so low. And do I think Microsoft's going to do that too? I mean, probably. They're probably eventually, not now.
I mean, bottom line, it's still going to be an amazing deal. There's no way you can shake it because, I mean, like, you look at right now, those 3 games alone, if you were to buy all 3 of those games here in Canada, they're $80 a pop. That's $160. That's what, $240 for 3 games. $240. Just think about that. So even for a year at $12 Canadian, what's it? 12 times 12. What's that? What's that? $140? Is it $140? Did I get that right? 144. There you go. 12 is 144. So $144. So if you were to buy those 3 games, just those 3 games alone, if you're in Canada, that's $240. You've already saved $100, or just over, or just a little under $100. Right there, bang smack. And there's other games on the service, and there's more to come. So there's no way you can look at it and say, no, this is a bad deal for gamers, because it's not.
Yeah.
And plus, if you're on the fence, like about Sea of Thieves, like if you're riding the fence on that one, how can you ride the fence? Because it's like, if you don't even like it, you're not out nothing. You didn't spend the $80. You just spent the 10. You don't have to play it. You can delete it from the hard drive. Forget you even had it. It's such a win-win for the gamers, especially. It's tough for the retailers. I get it, but it is what it is. A sign of the times, things are changing. You either got to change with it or get out of the business, as they say. That's just kind of the way it goes.
I agree.
I'm just going to hang on till I can, and then when that point actually comes, that I no longer have the option, then I will contemplate what my next move is. But up to that point, I'll continue to go with the cartridges and the discs for now at least. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, here's my only concern for you there, Noof, is if you do that and you don't switch over now, say,
Right.
Xbox 2, the successor to 1, is going to have a disc drive, but eventually they're not.
Yeah.
But they're always going to be able to bring, as you can see, they're bringing OG Xbox games back compat, right? They have 360 games,
Right.
they're back compat. The Xbox One games are definitely going to be compatible with the Xbox 2, right?
Got hit
But
by a
here's my
train.
problem. I'll save you.
I didn't
My
realize
problem-
there's a train
I
in
saw
this
that.
fucking game. What the fuck?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But like, my concern for you is if Xbox
Yeah.
3 comes out and it's a digital-only box and it doesn't have a disc drive, all these games that you said, well, I just didn't stop buying physical because they kept providing it. You're gonna be out. You're gonna have to have these old vintage dinosaur boxes to play them,
Yeah.
or rebuy them. So, I think it's in your best interest to go digital, only for your future sake in gaming. You see where I'm coming from? So,
Yeah.
if Xbox 3 doesn't have a disc drive, you could be like, well, Mooch, for 2 generations, I didn't have to worry about it. Well, eventually you're going to have to worry about it because this is the answer now, and they're going to have to make an adaptation rate for digital into even if there's a new thing beyond x86 architecture.
Well, so Shady says anybody that used to rent movies from like a Blockbuster should be all over this. I get where he's going with that. I mean, I used to rent a shitload of movies. To say that I never rented movies, I didn't rent a whole lot of games because I used to buy pretty much the games I wanted. I didn't really get into the rental stuff, but the biggest reason I rented movies because I couldn't afford all the movies that would come out that I'd want to watch, right? It didn't make much sense, right? We didn't have streaming services then. You didn't have a way to consume it other than to go to the store and rent it for your, $2.99, $2.99. Well, by the time I was done renting movies, I think when the last video store closed out here, the average movie price for the rental, I think, was about $4.99. Sometimes they were $5.75 to rent a movie, which is kind of what the cable services charge you now. But basically, I rented back then because I just couldn't afford to buy all the things. It makes sense. In this case, with Game Pass, at least for now, I mean, you got a lot of old games. Most of the games I already own, and then you're only going to have the couple new ones from Microsoft, right? So, like, it's still going to be worth it, but it's not like every third-party game is going to go in there, you know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree with you. Not every third-party game is, but I mean, realistically, I can run this thing. Oh, now they're gonna open it. Thanks. Right.
Yeah. Def Jam Bam says Digital's been away from him since 2013.
Wow, good for you, Bam. Like, Bam, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really start the digital revolution until probably like 2015. I bought a lot of games physical, and now I'm just like, there's no way. Like, I'm never going back. Like, I'm just not. Like, I do, although it's funny, I do buy physical games for PlayStation. All my PlayStation games are all physical because like I don't care. Like I'm not gonna play them. Like it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean?
I wish I could say that one of the big advantages of having the disc is that you don't have to install it and you can save a ton of disc space. Right. But that's not the case either. Because they fucked this. I don't know why they did that. I really don't understand why they do that. They put a disk drive in that basically all it is a DRM authenticator because, you put it in, you install it, and after that, that's it. It never runs, it never moves. The disk drive doesn't spin. It does for movies. Like you'll hear the Xbox One X actually spinning when the movies are going, but everything else is like straight to hard drive, right? So it's kind of like almost defeats the purpose of having a disk drive, period, which other than, like I said, it helps for people that have shitty internet and can't fucking download a game, because a 100 gigabyte game, like fucking Halo or something, would take, like, some guys, like, with shitty internet, probably take you, like, 2 days to download. This drive is beneficial in those regards, but when internet finally catches up, you're going to be like, man, like, why is there even a disk drive in here? Because it does really next to nothing.
Right, exactly. And I mean, that's my only, I think that's a concern. Like, once the disk drives are gone, and it's not going to be gone for Xbox 2 and PlayStation 5. They're still going to have a slot for the disc, but I don't think, those days are coming where you're just going to be forced to go digital.
Yeah, well, saving money. Like Ace Junkie brings up a good thing. He said, like, I'm fully digital now, not worth getting ripped off at EB. Only time I buy a disc is on sale, and haven't played it. So another thing with digital is nice because, well, you're going to hang on to all your games. You're not really going to get rid of them, right? So it's not like selling them. So if you ever did regret getting rid of a game, it's still going to be there for you, whether you delete it from the hard drive. It's a matter of pressing a button, re-download. We've done that. Like, fuck Destiny. I bought the original Destiny 3 friggin' times because, like, I'd buy it, get sick of it, trade it in, get nothing for it, then fucking get it again. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just, spent a fortune picking it up the second time. And, and
you're like, eventually it'll stick that I'm not going to play this game.
Exactly, but at least then you're not out nothing, and you're certainly not getting ripped off, and it's still part of your thing. But with the Game Pass, even better, because if you do make that investment, if you bought a game like, say, The Division or Destiny or No Man's Sky or whatever the fuck it might be, something that you weren't 100% sold on, at least, you're only out the monthly membership. You're not out the full kahuna, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
totally
see the
agree.
advantages. I don't disagree. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you because I'd sound like a friggin' idiot. I mean,
Oh, no.
Only an idiot wouldn't see the advantages of switching over. But like I said, I'm old school. I'm a collector, too. It's kind of like having hockey cards. I mean, the whole reason people have hockey and baseball cards is because they collect them. They take up a lot of room. After a while, you got no space to put them. But why do people still collect them? Because in a digital world, they're worth nothing, right? If hockey cards were digital and you were just going in and collecting them that way, they were worth shit all, right? And nobody would do it. So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, at least with a disc base, you still have some value. I mean, I can get something for it, whether I sell it out loose or I trade it into EB. Yes, lose my shirt, probably get ripped off. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a value in that property, right? So, but anyway, we're not going to beat that to death. We've talked about that, like, up to yin-yang. And we're coming to the end, guys. I'm going to leave the floor open now as we kind of clue up the show. We're approaching 10 o'clock. I know Mooch. It's getting late for Mooch. He probably wants to get off and play
over
game.
Here.
So we're going to clue it up. I think it was a great show, by the way, Mooch. Fantastic topics. You've been fantastic, as I expected you would be. But lastly,
you,
Mooch, I'm going to open the floor to anybody who has a question for Mooch. Anything that you want to ask Mooch, now is the time. That good stuff. Yeah, so go ahead, guys. The floor is open now before we do our initial wrap-up here. So if you got any questions, feel free to type them out. I know it takes a little while.
It does. I mean, there's a little latency, but it still takes a minute.
Stinking Corpse says, when are we going to do some more Star Trek? And I'd say probably soon. I'd like to do more Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. I'm up even for tomorrow.
By the way, Corpse, do you have that game Farpoint? Because I just I just won it, and it just came up to my house last week. But I got Farpoint, and I got that new controller that comes with it, the VR aim controller.
Oh, the gun?
Yeah, and apparently that's got a co-op mode in it, right? That's got a co-op. I don't know if it's campaign or if it's just co-op modes, but I'm dying to try it. I just haven't fired it up yet. I haven't played my VR in, like, probably what? I think the last time I played VR was Star Trek with Stinking Corpse and Jago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I started playing Doom. That was it's a lot of fun.
Oh, you got the Doom VR?
Yeah, it's nice. I'm telling you, it's fun. Like, it takes. I'm not gonna lie to you. It takes a good 20 minutes to get used to the controls, but once you get it, it's fun.
All right, here's our first question. Our first big question, legitimate question, comes from So Shady in the chat. Most anticipated game on any platform. What's your most anticipated game of the year, Mooch? What are you looking forward to?
Thanks.
For the year, I am going to say Red Dead 2.
Good choice.
Probably the game I'm looking forward to the most. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2. I loved Red Dead 1. So, definitely that. What about you, Newf?
For me at this point in time, because I mean, we obviously don't know what's going to come out by the time E3 is said and done. But for me, guys, I'm going to say it's got to be God of War at this point, which I pre-ordered, by the way, and can't wait. I pre-ordered the Stonemason edition, a real expensive bitch, but looking forward to it. And again, that's another example of where right now the God of War, man. I mean, I'm a big God of War fan. I hate to say it, I almost hate picking a Sony title. I wish I could say that Microsoft had something that was a little more exciting for me, but the three that I know about, like Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, and Crackdown, like, I want those games, but they're not, like, floating my boat. They're not like, hey, I gotta get, you know what I mean? Like, if it was Halo or Gears, I'd be like, oh my god, my pantyhose would be rolling up right
Thing, though, here's my question for you. So you said I'm a huge God of War fan. My question is this is not a typical God of War.
No, it's not, but I'm actually
So-
excited for it. I'm one of the few people that
So
are
am I.
optimistic. I'm actually
But see,
liking where they're going. Because I watched that latest
So do
trailer and
I,
it blew me
but
away.
I
I
don't
was
like-
like,
I don't like the other ones. So I have a
Oh,
reason
okay.
to like this one.
aha.
Do you like the other ones? So my question is
I
if you
love
like the other ones, they're changing what you like.
Yeah, I love the other ones, but you know what? The other ones are so last gen, you know what I mean? Like, I played them, I've done them, they're good, but I've watched the trailers for this, and I love where they're making Kratos seem more like just an angry badass to more of a humanized badass, you know, and they're taking away those
Yeah.
changes. I'm really,
I just
you
didn't
know,
like the camera angles in the old ones. Hated the camera
the
angle.
camera angle in this one actually reminds me a lot of Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. If you look at it, it's very like in the other one, like they were set angles, right? The other games always had that third person, like sort of like top down, sort of isometric view a lot of the time.
But the camera,
you know,
and then it would move side, then it would be over
Yeah.
top, then it went left, then it went right, and I was like, dude,
I
come
think
on.
this one
Like,
is closer to the Last of Us camera. You know what I mean? I think you were
it's like the
you were in
Last of
control
Us,
of
yeah.
it. Yeah, you're in control of the camera for this God of War. You control the narrative a bit more. You control the camera. And the game seems like it's got weight. Like it's got a story that actually means something, you know, like that'll invest you. Kind of like The Last of Us invested. I think they took that, you know, because I think that's what sells the PlayStation games is that their story-based narratives are very deep. They got a lot of emotional content and attachment to characters because if you played The Last of Us and you liked it, and I know Mooch, you're a fan of it. I mean, one of the cool things about that game was such a great sort of chemistry and that relationship that Ellie and Joel had, and how much crap they went through. It wasn't about those fucking clickers and shit. Like a lot of times, you couldn't wait for the cutscenes because it was just some great animation and great acting and stuff. You know, at least that's how I found it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The Last of Us to me is one of my top. I don't know how to ever. It's hard when somebody asks you, hey, like we went over top 3 games of all time. You said to me, and then if you're on a deserted island, what games would you take with you? And I mean, there's so many different ways to have your favorite 5 to 10 games. It's in my top 5. I love The Last of Us, man. I think it's just a game that I like the story. You know, I'm looking forward to Days Gone.
Yeah, that one looks pretty cool too.
I'm looking more forward to Days Gone than I am even God of War.
I think
I
it's
don't know anything about it.
I think it was Siberia in the chat. I could be wrong, but somebody asked, will there be Xbox Nation this week?
Yeah. Yes, there will.
Okay, next question. What are you excited for Anthem? I forget who asked it. It might have been So Shady. Somebody asked about that one. Are you excited for Anthem?
I am, and I'm actually a little more excited now than I was even before because Destiny 2 kind of let me down a little bit. So with Destiny 2 not living up to the hype that I was used to, I'm looking forward to Anthem because Anthem's going to be that. I think Anthem will be that like.
Spider-Man asked that
with
question.
Destiny could have been awesome though. Awesome, yeah, definitely looking forward to Anthem.
Cool. All right, well, I think that kind of brings us to the end. We're just over past 10 o'clock, 12 Eastern time, guys. I want to thank you all so much for supporting the podcast. Again, I'll have this up on
Very cool, yes.
the replay up tomorrow, hopefully on YouTube, where people can check it out who chance to miss it. I hope you did enjoy it, guys. Learn a little bit about Mooch. Great topics, great discussion. Sorry the gameplay wasn't that intriguing. Obviously, it was almost impossible to concentrate when you're trying to think about your answers instead of communicating as a team in here. But Biggie says, great show. Stinking Corpse, great show again, as you figured.
Thank you, everybody.
Do you want any or all of the questions to be true? Def Jam says, great show. Until next time. Yeah, Def Jam, we had a great time with you last week, man. So, Mooch, I want to thank you, man. I appreciate you coming out to be here on the program on this little mixer/podcast stream. I couldn't wait to get you on, like I said, because... like I said, I probably wouldn't be doing this period if it wasn't for you kind of giving me the endorsement and telling me to go for it, and here we are. So to catch up with you, Mooch, I think a lot of people know where to find you, but for those who don't, drop them some links and let them know what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. You know, of course, at Mooch1978, you guys know that on Twitter. We got the Mooch78 on YouTube. You know, check out Mixer, guys. Whoever's watching this live, got a good amount of stuff coming up that's going to be on Mixer. I'm not going to lie to you. I would say the next month or two, I'll be doing a lot more streaming. That's my goal and plan is to do this, but it'll be a one-on-one with the audience and kind of streaming. So Mixer is the Mooch, no space. And yeah, man, I mean, you guys know where to find me. Crossfire, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Fridays, MNC mornings, 11 a.m. And got another project that I'm working on right now and hoping to announce in the near future. So a couple things cooking in the oven, and it's awesome, Newf. To be honest with you, thanks for having me on the show. And I mean what I said the first time you asked me. I'll say it again. You got a radio personality. You got a love and passion for the gaming business. And I think you're onto something by doing this. This is fun. It's fun. It doesn't matter what we're playing or what we're doing. The idea of this is to do the show and not to worry about what game we're playing. But it's nice to just have something for the audience to watch while they're listening.
No, you couldn't have said it any better, because I did a little survey a while back, and people kind of said that, people kind of said they kind of enjoyed at least having a little background, something going instead of just the static images and the voices. And Mixer's a great avenue for that. It's almost like producing going. So as long as Mixer doesn't shit the bed in the middle of an actual cast, you should be all right. So, I got ran over by a truck.
I agree.
But yeah, man, thanks so much for coming
great.
out. I will definitely be hanging out with you again Wednesday night on the podcast. I hope to get to play some Sea of Thieves with you as well. I'd love to try that with you. If possible, maybe get some more PUBG. We haven't played that one like forever. Biggie says he sent me a gift. Okay, that's awesome,
Hey,
Biggie. I appreciate that.
Biggie.
No, coming from Biggie, it's probably something cool. That guy's been dropping like donations and stuff all over the place. Give a big shout out to Biggie and everybody that helps
Biggie.
gamers. Like I said, Thumbs gifted me what was it,
Much
Bloodborne the other week,
Biggie.
and I never even asked. It's even cooler sometimes when you you can mooch without even trying to mooch.
if you mooch without mooching, okay, that's a true gift.
Yeah,
that is a true gift.
That's like the equivalent of your wife giving you the old hand job without even asking her. You just feel like it's out of this world.
That train's never late.
No, the train is never late, man. Leaving the station.
No.
Mooch, again, thanks for coming out, guys. Make sure you catch Mooch. Support the Patreon. I've got to say as well, fucking MNC Mornings, guys. It is bar none my favorite fucking podcast of the week. I love it. I love the dynamic. I love what Mooch Crap and J-Dubs put together. To produce an actual show. It's just awesome. So if you got friends who've never checked out MNC Mornings, tell them to do so. And I love the fact they bring the audience in, and they got some crazy ass fucking callers. And oh man, it's just a really well done job, Mooch, with that show. And hopefully I'll be able to record some more Arnold lines for you guys at some point here. I know J-Dubs had mentioned it, but haven't gotten around to him yet. So yes, Biggie says yes. MNC, $1 a dream.
$1 a dream, Biggie. $1 a dream. That's for everybody. Awesome, man. Thanks for the compliment, Newf.
So
really
Shady
appreciate
says,
it.
I wish game gifting was not region locked. I couldn't agree with him more. Fucking it sucks. But it is what it is, I guess. So just got to deal with it for now. Hopefully Microsoft change it, at least for Canada and the US. I mean, geez Louise, like we share a border, for crying out loud. Let us share some bloody games.
That's a good question, actually. If you got a gift from Biggie, Biggie's from the States.
Yeah, it might not even work. It might just deny it. Because I tried the option for someone in the States a while back just to test it, and it was like, nope.
If you want to pass it along, you can always pass it to the old Mooch.
Now, what does work, Biggie, and I don't know where you find them, but codes, like actual in-game codes, actually work. Those go fine. It's anything with financial transaction because of the currency difference. That's why.
That's
yeah,
great.
it's dumb, but
Biggie's good people.
All right, guys, we're going to close the show here now. I want to thank you so much for supporting for the Mixer tonight. Appreciate your love and support, and we'll catch you soon. So peace out, guys. Have a great night.
Peace.